Good morning, everybody. Let's get you your fancy opening and we will get to it. Well, yes, I do think. All right, so I've this done, you've done that, this, that too. So, this. Bum, 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 bum. Oh, did I put music on? Hold on. Bum, 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 bum. Sorry, guys. Hold on. All right, that worked. I found out I found that the zoom on the camera too. I know you guys were. I know you guys were like, "Wow, I really wonder if he's going to figure out how to do the zoom on the camera." And there it is. Give me 1 second. All right. The guy that helps me with everything is in India at a freaking wedding, trying to have a social life, and it's effing exhausting. So let's get to it. Good morning. All right, let's get to this. I did not think this was that bad on Oracle, and I'm just going to address it. I couldn't do a video last night. I had to listen to the call. I have a ton of this. I have a ton of options that are literally just, they'll be wallpaper this morning. I think it's really important. Like, I don't really see this as a bad, like, to me, this really wasn't that bad. It doesn't matter what I think. It matters what the stock does, right? So it doesn't really matter. What I think does not matter. What matters is what the stock does. And the stock is selling off. So levels, it's the 190 level and 185. You have a ton of put sellers there in the option market maker. I think from what I've read, like 3 different reports on this, the biggest concern that you have out there right now for this particular name is going to be the, let me just make sure I have this out there and that's the right one. Make sure this comes across. The biggest concern that I see out there is that people are worried about the free cash flow, which did miss 100%, did miss. And they are worried about not only the free cash flow, but they are worried about the ability to pay the bonds. And the CFO, under no uncertain terms, said, do not worry about our ability to pay our bonds. We will be fine. So they want the investment grade. They're not going to get rid of the investment grade. So I don't know, man. To me, yeah, I mean, I kind of take them at that. So it's definitely something where I think we need to pay attention to it, but they want out of it right now, and it doesn't seem like they're even remotely trying to stabilize it or get back in there. So, go from there, and we'll see how this plays out. But right now, you just keep bonking along. It sure as heck trying, and we'll go from there, and we'll see how it plays out. But we'll say. Right now, no. I mean, you're running into a real issue here. So, maybe get some semblance of holding. So, some, but right now it's not holding. So you don't really want to, for me, it's not a function of anything more than let me allow this thing to do what it's going to do. And then I'll figure out what I'm going to do from there. But, for now, you hit that 199 again. And all you've been doing since you broke down is just continuing to break down. So I don't really see, a reason to do a whole heck of a lot here at all with it. So, that's where my head is in regards to the cues. And this is really how I see things. I'm going to get rid of this for a second. And just, you've broke down last night and people are all giddy because you got back to where you closed after the news hit. And this is your high and that's your close from last night. So that close is also that value high from all the way back here. So I don't really see this as like this great, like, oh, we're above it. If you were to look at this and what you have going on here, to me, I really hate when they do the colors like that. But what we'll do here is just go to the canvas and I forget where that is. Maybe it's in here. It's not the symbol. It's like background grid lines, right? They're all black. So I don't know. It's somewhere in here. Hit the watermark. Lines, text. I forget where they put that thing. It's somewhere in here, right? Drives me nuts. Pre and post market. Like, just stop it with your nonsense. There it is. I could see why you put that there versus the other spot. But when I look at that, like, it's pretty obvious where your levels are. And you don't really want to close below that. So I do think that there's an issue there. And I certainly think it's something to pay attention to, for sure. See how it goes. But if we go and take a look here at the SPY, we're going to do the same thing. And you're hitting the same levels like over and over again. And yeah, watch the 8 o'clock level, but you got right to the top again, right here, that 690, you rejected. You're flipping your value high, and then you're breaking it last night, and then that's it. So I don't really, again, view it as, you could see it respects it because it got right to it and hit it again. So I don't really view this as the best. You might be wedged in here, and what I'm leaning towards more than anything is that you just might be rotating. And that rotation, you just might be rotating. And I think that's really where you're at with it. I think you're rotating out of certain sectors and into others. And I think if that continues, what we're going to see is more of this sideways action in the market. And that's going to be up to us to kind of figure out what we want to do about it. That's what I think. There I go again, thinking. So if I am to go here, see it? So, you're coming back to this level again and again and again. And I think it's an issue. I mean, it's not like you're hitting a different level every time. You're hitting the same darn level every single time. So I do think that's an issue. I do. I think it's a big issue. Let's do this on a 5. I'm going to take a lot of questions because I have to jump at 9 today. I have a ton going on this morning, a ton. You want to watch this, man. You want to watch that like a hawk. Like, it's a big deal today. Also, the other thing to realize about this market is when you come off of a Fed meeting like you had, you definitely want to put yourself in a position where you understand that the Fed, they're going to rebalance everything. They always rebalance everything after that. The Fed yesterday basically said they're done. Despite the dot plot, Powell said he's done. And now they want to see what they did. They did 75 basis points. We're done. This is where it comes from. So the big area is going to be here. I still think you have net buyers in the market. I think you're going to rotate, and I think people that are shorting, like long-term shorting, are going to have a real problem here. What we want to focus on is just watching how this is going to play out. But that's how I say it. That's how I say it. And I think that you're okay here. I do. I think that you're absolutely okay here. But I don't think you're going to fall apart. But I do. And I think you've tested it so many times that you're okay. Like, it'll work its way down. I do. You just have to think that from a rotation standpoint and be very cognizant of these levels. But I feel that way. I feel like it's more of a rotation. And I actually feel like it's even rotations within the sectors, meaning like AVGO is the leader now, not NVIDIA. If you start looking at from a performance standpoint, you'll see what I mean. So I'll show you what I mean in a sec. Let's just copy this and we'll download that as well so that you can see it. And then we'll drop it in here as well. Okay. I'll show you what I mean by this. So if I go to, let's go into this real quick. If I go to AVGO, AVGO. Use your words. And then I go to this. We'll go to a bear chart for a sec. I'll clean off all my nonsense. Turn it to a line. And then we're going to go AVGO, and we're going to divide that by NVIDIA. So this is long AVGO, short NVIDIA. If you shorted NVIDIA and you went long AVGO, let's find January 1st. And I'll show you what I mean by this. All right, so it's the 2nd. All right, so from that date to here, now they're saying you're up here, but let's just take this. You're up 30% on the year. So if you went long AVGO and you shorted NVIDIA in 2025, you're up 30% on the year. Now that tells you what you're dealing with right now. And it's actually getting even more pronounced. Pardon me, if you look at it. You actually are starting to form a huge cup and handle, if you really say it. See it? Look at it. So that probably means that if you measured the depth of the cup down to here, what's that get us? 11%? Darn blue lights. What's that give me? You know, there's got to be a way they can make this bigger, 16%. There's got to be a way to make that bigger, right? There has to be. Snap to indicators. Go weak magnet. Click on it again. Snap to indicators. What's that going to do? All right, well, let's do that later. All right, there goes the 80-day. So I think that's super interesting. Anyway, let's get to it. So if we're looking at this, what's it telling us? Well, you're getting new leaders. And if you're getting new leaders, I think you're going to get new sector leaders. I think that's where you're going with like ROBO, RAKQ, Quantum. I think that's where this is all heading. Like these things are all at highs. So I tend to lean like that's the way that we're heading. So keep that in mind. I'm going to run through these really quickly and make sure that I get to your questions. I do want to just point this out that you do have AVGO tonight. I know a lot of people are looking at AVGO and thinking, well, if Oracle was bad, AVGO is going to be bad. I wouldn't assume that. I really wouldn't. You have no idea what you're going to get tonight, but I think the way to do it is to watch what we get and then kind of go from there. So they're your really, like, I don't think you're going to break 375, but they're your really, really big levels. I personally think people are going to want to play AVGO into the earnings, but you just never, ever, ever know what people are going to do. Like, I just don't, you never, ever have a clue what people are truly going to do there. So for me, it's just one of those things where I just want to watch. Now, if I'm to, let's see if I can give you some critical levels here on this before I start taking questions. And I'll try to do everybody, but I don't think it's going to happen today. I don't think we'll be able to get to everybody. And I got to go at 9. I'm so late with these things in the morning. Lately, it's just been crazy. The call wall is still 400, which is kind of crazy. $320. They don't seem to have a care in the world. You get above 420, it's on. Mm-hmm. You got a lot out there, man. Like they're pretty darn aggressive with what they're doing. I'm just looking at the market, trying to see if I can add any more value. I would watch 430 if you got above 430. But there's definitely some stuff there. 430 is absolutely huge here. So, we'll see how it goes and go from there. But I definitely think there's something to it. I do. Mm-hmm. Okay. I don't know that we need to go through Netflix. We've gone through Oracle, Netflix. I'm trying to think what other names. I don't need to go through that. Oh, I do want to go through this. This thing's trading like it's going to get another offer. I don't know that you got another offer coming. I don't know that, but it's kind of interesting how it's trading. Let's go through this. Yeah, who cares? Hi, Diana. Yeah, it's definitely an interest to me when we start to see it. I do like what happened yesterday with Move. I think it is good that they did that they fell off, but we'll see. I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure what we're going to get there, but from my standpoint, I really I'm a little concerned. I'll tell you what I'm concerned about. I'm really concerned about. I can't stay above this level, man. It's like every single time they just smoke it for some reason. It's not once, it's every single time. They're like, oh no, this time we're going to go wham, wham, wham. Like it's every freaking time. So, when you get to a call wall, which you have one up here, there is like a 90 or 80%, 75 or 80% chance you're not going to break it. So that's pretty textbook stuff. But it's the 26 that bothers me more than anything, because the 26 ties into this. All this, like you have not been able to get above this you're in 2 months now. So, and I think it's because you're going through rotation more than the market's going to fall apart. I think he said, I'll tell you what I think he really said. We're done cutting rates until we see what happens. Inflation's high. We did it because of the labor market, but inflation's high. That's what I think he said, bro. I really do. So I'll go through the ones that I think are the most important. I think the GEV, I think you're going to go through some new leaders. I think you're going to get new leaders. I think that's where this is going. And I think that's one of them. So I would watch this. I couldn't get over. I got such a good fill yesterday. I couldn't even get over it. I could not get over how good the fill I got was. It was kind of crazy. So like I literally got like as close to the open as possible, and they stalled it forever. So, and that never happens. Well, this just shows me that I have no idea what I'm doing in retail. Thanks, John. I mean, I'm not buying this. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just not doing it. But I'm also not saying that I'm right, because you're right. So it's a super easy trade because you're literally buying that bar, and it works or it doesn't. And you'll know in a day it's either going to work or it's not going to work. Right. So it's not really my kind of thing. You can see Alta. I'd rather buy these when they do those double tops, those double taps, like this. So you'll see it, like, see that tap right here. And then you see how like this one's higher than that one. Like that's where I'd like to do like the retail value names. I don't like doing them up here. Pardon me. ELF would be another one. And you can kind of get a sense of that. So, really washed out in here. So I think that that's the way to trade this stuff. But, what do I know? Yeah, you might get there. We're getting there. Give me 1 second, guys. Sorry. I have a lot on today. All right, you're probably not there yet. Not even close. Surprised you can't even rally get off the ground. Well, I don't think you're breaking any trend, right? Like this is where people are getting twisted. That's why I brought up Stan. That's why I brought up what I did earlier. Like break the trend of what? Awesomeness. Like I don't think people understand that semis are ripping, just not the ones that you guys are in or that we were trading. Like everyone's like, oh, well, semis are getting hurt. No, your semis are getting hurt. My semis are getting hurt. Like NVIDIA is not going anywhere. AMD's, AVGO's at highs, ASML's at highs, right? Taiwan Semi. People are like, oh, I better get out of Taiwan Semi. Oh yeah, God forbid. Like why? You're worried about capital gains? Like go look at the names yesterday. Like you really want to do yourself, like you want to take one thing from this today? Like the one thing to take over everything? Go through every name that hit an all-time high yesterday and go build a database out of those names. It'll tell you where the money's going because that's what you're trying to do. Find where's the money going. Like we're not going to move the market. Remember, like they're the sharks, we're the remora, period. But when we go through it, well, KLAC, you're at highs. I think even AMAT, right? Look at that pig. Right? Earnings, you're 75 straight dollars from earnings. It's crazy from earnings on a $200 stock. And we're worried about like, oh, are semis going to bounce? No, or are semis going to bounce? Because semiconductor capital equipment manufacturers that are going to have to start probably running around the clock so they can start selling us, Google TPU chips, which is, by the way, forming a flag. It's something. But that's how I say it, man. Hope that helps. It did move the right way, bro. It did. Affirm. No. That's super interesting. Because you're probably pretty damn washed out, aren't you? I don't know, man. You're already overbought. I do like it. I'm not going to lie. I like these trades. I like these trades because they're so clean. They're so easy. Like I'm over. I have above average volume. It's like you either work right there or you don't. Here's my 1222 cross. I'm back above the 55. I either work or I don't work. Period. End of story. So it's not even like you have to do a lot with it. I think this is super interesting versus Affirm because these people lend money. So, and people will be looking for loans. So I do think that's pretty interesting. Where could you get to? 55? Yeah, you could go. This could work. I like out of the both of those, I think that makes more sense. I don't think there's much to say about XBI. I like it. You've had a huge run. I tend to short LABD. I find it easier. on when it rips higher. I think it's a much easier trade, but what else do you have there? NBIS, I don't really think there's anything to do with. I don't like the declining 55. It's a problem. I can't get up off the ground. A lot of these names, I think you're rotating. I do. I think you're rotating. And if you're below a 55 right now, you really don't want to be rushing into them. You want to focus on the ones that are above it. I don't think it's a lost cause. I went through a lot on Oracle. A lot of people are really worried about. I own Oracle long term. I'm not doing a darn thing with it. A lot of people are worried about. For me, this is how I say it. That's what it's doing here. Yeah, it's actually getting worse, not better. It's trying to act like it's getting better, but it's not. The free cash flow side of it. I would listen to the conference call. I thought it was good. I can see the concern, and the growth in the software side wasn't there for sure. And that's why it's getting smoked. And so as long as it's under 200, if you're a short-term trader, you're going to have a problem. Happy Thursday. Lisa used to say happy Thursday to me all the time. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it was you, but someone's been yammering on about this thing for someone's been yammering on about this thing for, I guess, the past week, saying, look at Sienna, look at Sienna. I mean, there it is. You're killing it. So it's definitely working. Definitely worth paying attention to for sure today. It'll be very active today. BBVA. This thing's been an absolute monster. Like just absolute unequivocal monster. So, no. Anything that faded, I have no interest in. No. Anything that's below 55, man, I'd be so suspect of right now. No. No. Giselle does not like Hot Pockets. Yeah, I know. Dude, I had a jacket on. Or flannel today. CRM. I mean, it's clearly established a base, and it's definitely trying to break out. Good morning from Phoenix. Good morning from Miami. Bro, the struggle's real sometimes. Yeah, I mean, who cares? I mean, everyone's so worried about, everyone's like a credit default swap expert. Maybe you are an expert with it, but the credit swaps, okay. The way to play Goodyear is usually when crude oil drops. So if crude oil is going to plummet, you buy Goodyear because 2/3 of their costs are oil. So if you truly think that oil is going to plummet, of oil, a lot of people don't know this. But if you looked at Goodyear and then you went like crude, you'll see a direct correlation to it. Like you can't miss it. So look at it. So whenever you see that, like, oh, you're dropping, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, okay. So it's pretty interesting. And you can go through history and look at it. I mean, it's really kind of fascinating to me. Oh, you peaked, and then it peaks, and then it's like do 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 do. It's like you find these peaks, and then when it drops, you'll see it get better. And it's usually like 3 months out because of the costs, I guess. I don't know, but that's what we used to do with it back in the day. I thought Oracle was very good. Doesn't really matter what we think, Mon. I thought it was very good. You know, the free cash flow was off. People are worried about the software side of the business. Who cares? That's not where they're going. So, but let them smoke it. I've been here before, man. I love it. Like long term, do you know how many times like people have like thrown in the towel on Oracle after a quarter? Like, oh, it's really bad. Okay. Make sure you get out of it. Fine by me, fine by me. And it's just like, if you kind of go through history, you'll see these blow ups like on earnings. Like it's not new. Like this is not new at all. I'll just find one to like kind of show you. Like here's one in like 18. Like this is textbook pretty NVIDIA stuff, but like here's NVIDIA in like 2018, right? And it's like, oh, 10% down on the day. Oh, that's it. It's done. It's never coming back. Okay. Oh, it's done. It's never coming back. Okay. Like it's the same thing over and over and over again. It's like the same record. It's like, oh no, this is really it. This is really the end of it. What would it do that time? 10%? What was that? 160? All right. And then what did it do? Go to 340? All right. This time's different though, right? Carolina Mountains. That's beautiful there. It's been going on for a while, from what I can gather. It's been going on for a while. Well, good for them. Have a good time with your quote unquote social life. I don't know that you want to. I don't know. I would be focused on the ones that are doing the best, but the ones that are tied to NVIDIA are really struggling. They really are struggling. So I don't know. What do you want to do? CIFR and you want to do Wolf because they're tied to Google? You can. Octo. Please don't be a penny stock. Please don't be a penny stock. Okay. Thank you for that. 10 seconds of my life I can't get back. These are the kinds of names I thought would actually go. Coiled for what? Losses? No. I actually thought these were going to be the names that were going to rip, like DoorDash and that and Duolingo. Man, they smoked this thing. Yeah, Microsoft's got some issues. Well, no one believed her. Your put wall's right here, by the way, 475. And so we definitely want to watch that this morning, but that's your put wall. You definitely are going to want to watch that. But I don't know, man. Let's go see if that moved, and then I'm going to have to jump, guys. Let's go see if that moved or if it's day. You don't want to break 475. I'll tell you that. You definitely don't want to break 475, but you should hold it. You definitely don't want to break it, but it's definitely there. So let's see. We'll see. I'm just going to go through this. Let's do Reddit. I mean, I like it, but I don't love it. I wouldn't go near Lily. It's in free fall. It's got to stop. You need it to stop. Like eventually it'll catch, but every single day it's just getting smoked. I got to go, guys. I'm super late. Make good choices today.